there we are. Hop onto the main channel. You can have a look. There it is there. Alright, audio is working as it should. The stream's up, the chat's up, we're all good to go. That is absolutely fantastic. Hello everyone and welcome to round 6 of the Pacific Elite Series here on Race Spec Esports. I'm Lane Everingham, your commentator for this event, and tonight we'll be racing at the Bahrain International Circuit for the Bahrain Grand Prix. Constructed in 2004 and designed by track-making Supremo Herman Tilke, this 5.41 kilometre 15-turn racetrack has gained a reputation of being one of the best circuits for side-by-side racing on the Formula 1 calendar. Reason being, it has 3 DRS zones that lead into the prime overtaking spots of Turn 1, Turn 4 and Turn 11, with other overtaking opportunities at the hairpin of Turn 8 and the penultimate corner of Turn 14. Outside of these areas, the drivers will have to deal with the terribly tricky traction zone through Turns 2 and 3, as well as the equally tricky braking zone through Turns 9 and 10. The high-speed S's of Turns 5, 6 and 7, as well as a high-speed right-hander of Turn 12, will be major hotspots for spins and accidents during both qualifying and in the race. Now, before we focus on qualifying, there is a bit of news to go through first from last week's race in Hungary. Only a single incident report with a collision between Spicy and Gaz that we actually caught on stream that happened at Turn 2. Gaz was found at fault, but because he didn't finish the race, he wasn't given a time penalty. Instead, he was given 2 penalty points next to his name. But with no time penalties being dished out, it means that the final finishing positions from last week's race remain unchanged. In the Drivers' Championship, Smithy is leading the way on 122 points, followed by F1 Ferrari Pro on 116. Only 6 points separating the top 2 in the Drivers' Championship. Incredibly close. ACW is third and he's not too far behind. He's on 109. He is 13 points behind the leader and 7 points behind his teammate. In P4 we have Plevs on 93 points, followed by GeForce Pato on 92. Bags Liddell is next on 52, followed by Roscoe Arm on 50. Spicy on 44, Riley on 33, and rounding out the top 10 is Pump 46 in the Williams on 30 points. In the Constructors' Championship, Ferrari is leading the way. They're on 225 points, followed by Alpine on 185. It's a considerable gap of 40 points, but we're still in the early stages of the championship, so this fight isn't over, especially also when you consider that Aston Martin are third on 174 points, just 11 behind Alpine. Next is Alfa Romeo on 68, followed by McLaren on 62. Mercedes are next on 50, followed by Williams on 39, as Kong spins out into the barrier through Turn 6. I mentioned this was going to be an area that we had to keep an eye out for, and Kong has proven me right. But completing the table, we have Williams on 39, AlphaTauri on 31, Haas on 20, and at the bottom of the table is Red Bull Racing on 18 points. But that's pretty much it in terms of news. We can now focus on this qualifying session. And I can introduce my co-commentator for tonight, who is once again KD1997. KD, you talked to me a little bit earlier before we begun this stream, and you mentioned this is one of your favourite circuits to go to on the Formula 1 calendar.
Yeah, Bahrain in previous times in Formula 1 games, it's been one of my personal favorites just because I've been relatively quick around here. That's basically one of the big things. But no, I do like the track in general. Like you mentioned, there are good spots overtaking with turns 1, 4, and 11. But also, with these cars, though, I know it is tricky, like you did mention in the intro as well, about the tricky traction zones. Mainly for me, it's turns 8 and turn 10, pretty much. Well, turn 10 also, especially too, with no ABS. I know it's very difficult to get the car rotated and also get it get a good amount of traction. It's easy to wheel spin, but no, overall though, I definitely love this place though. It's just one of my favorite Tilkodromes in the current F1 calendar, for sure.
Yeah, absolutely. But I suppose with Herman Tilke racetracks, a lot of them don't set a very high bar. So some of them are quite good, like, for example, Kota, on your side of the world. But, yeah, a lot of Tilkodromes on average tend to be quite mid, to put it nicely, I think. The best way to describe them are very mid racetrackers as ACW jumps up to P2. Currently, it is Smithy at the top of the table with a 1 minute 28.067. He's got less than 1/10 of a second separating him and ACW, and Bags Liddell completes the top three. Meanwhile, our defending champion, Ferrari Pro, is making his way through the final sector, making his way around turn 13 to be exact, heading down towards the final two corners on the racetrack, turns 14 and 15. Turn 14 is a much more important corner of the two, but this little left-hand kink is counted as an official corner on the track map. It's quite ridiculous, but, you know, you can't argue with the official track map, as Ferrari Pro jumps up to P4 with a 1 minute 28.444. Currently, the top 6 cars are separated by 1 second, and I imagine that's going to shrink somewhat over this qualifying session. Another thing I have failed to mention is that Bahrain is an incredibly well-used racetrack in online league racing. So, KD, do you imagine that qualifying is going to be relatively close?
For previous experiences I've raced here at Bahrain, it does tend to get very, very close. Well, depending on the quality of the field, but we do have some quality drivers, obviously, so I expect the front runners to be quite close for qualifying. I think with these cars, if I remember correctly, the best times is obviously like you see them in the top 5 and the 28s, or maybe even high 27s, I think is another good time to have as well. With these cars, but yeah, that's pretty much like the key area you want to be in terms of qualifying. But yeah, no, I do expect it to be somewhat close.
AMS Kong has just begun a flying lap. We're going to take you on a guided tour of this 5.4 kilometer racetrack. Into turn 1, third gear, short shifting up to fourth as we head through turn 2 and up the hill and around turn 3. Very tricky, complex, very easy to lose control through there. DRS open, heading down towards turn 4, hard on the brakes at the 100 meter ball, clipping the apex, short shifting up to 5th gear. A tidy exit out of the right-hander, into the left-hander at turn 5, into 6, and around the left of turn 7. Avoiding the curb, avoiding using too much curb, that is. Around the hairpin at turn 8, then heading up the hill, over the crest, into the tricky traction zone, or braking zone, through turns 9 and 10. Oh, that's a ton of understeer there. Kong went way too quick through turn 9 into turn 10. Missed the corner completely as we head into turn 11. 5th gear as Plebs has left the session. Oh, and Kong almost left the racetrack. Gee whiz. As he heads around turn 12 up towards the middle sector split. And now we're in the final sector, heading around turn 13. Down this final long straightaway, up towards the final 2 corners on the racetrack. Turns 14, braking on the 100 meter board. Down to 4th gear, short shifts to 5th as he heads around the final corner sideways. But he's going to complete this flying lap. He sets a 29.1, goes 7th quickest, and KD, that was scruffy.
Yeah, well, at least it gave us a show. It showed off his little bit of catching skills, I guess.
Yeah, gee whiz.
Twice.
It shows you how little traction you get around here. Like, you really are fighting the car around several points around the circuit.
Oh, of course. With these low traction zones, with these traction limited cars, yeah, it just adds more recipe to basically be a handful around here. But
Riley making his way through the first sector, currently P8 with a 29.3. That Aston Martin you see in the background, that headed through turns 1, 2. That's Smithy, our current pole sitter, so we'll flick to him in a few moments' time. Riley to the first sector is up by half a second. What about Smithy? Does he improve to the first sector? He does by 4 thousandths of a second. So he hasn't found a tremendous amount of time, but he is purple to the first sector. Back to Riley as Plevs has rejoined the session. Riley making his way out of turn 10, heading down the back straightaway towards turn 11. 7th gear, 8th gear, be braking at the 100-meter board, bringing it all the way down to 5th. Back on the accelerator, nice and easy, eventually reaching full throttle as he heads up towards the middle sector split. The clock says he is up by 0.8 of a second, so this is going to be a considerable improvement for Riley as Kong has spun at pit entry of all places. Smithy has backed out of this flying lap. He is not going to improve right here, right now, but we still have plenty of time left in this qualifying session. Riley will head up towards the line to set a 28.356. It is 4th quickest for the McLaren driver. Ferrari Pro getting ready. Bags Liddell on a flying lap down to the first sector, and he's going to be down quite a lot more. That is a spin at turn 11, and he'll get pointed back in the right direction and get going again. Yep, doesn't take much, KD, at all.
Nope. No. Nope, just one little slip up and yeah, you can just ruin your lap or just worse, ruin your race. Pretty much. So there's little margin for error, especially.
Yeah, absolutely. As ACW, wow. Found a 10.5 in the first sector alone.
Yeah, I know, that's a massive improvement for sure.
Well, with that alone, he can jump up and take pole position. That's how much time he's found as he heads through the double left-handers of turn 9 and turn 10. Now down the back straightaway with DRS open, heading towards turn 11. He'll pass, I believe that's Riley getting out of the way. It is, as ACW makes his way around turn 11 sideways. He caught it, did better than Bags, but the result is still the same. It ruins his flying lap.
Yep. Jeez, really just little margin for error.
Well, actually, I was speaking with this man here, Spicy, after the Formula Endurance race, because he was all by himself in a PlayStation party, so we invited him into a different party, and we were able to speak with him. He wasn't looking forward to this event at all. He was somewhat dreading this event coming up, and I think from some of the things we've seen on track right now, I can understand Spicy's concerns as he jumps up to P6. As Ferrari Pro jumps to the top.
Goes to pole. Yeah.
All right.
By 2 thousandths.
Not much.
Yeah, not much between him and Smithy. Yeah.
But I think we know that Smithy and ACW still have a bit more pace left to show us. And we still have a bit more track evolution to take place as well. We've still got 5.5 minutes left in qualifying, so... But, yeah, talking to Spicy, and Spicy's an experienced campaigner, and he's very good as well, probably better than both of us, I'd say, KD, but he was dreading this race. So, if he was dreading it, then how's everyone else going to fare in this event? Like, and how bad is the race going to be? I mean, these guys, they're pushing to the limit, yes, but they're on soft tyres with no fuel in the car. So the car's as light as it could be, and you're on the grippiest tyre, and we're still seeing drivers spin out. So what are we going to see when the drivers have a full tank of fuel in the car, and they're on mediums and hards?
And not to mention... Sorry.
No, make your point. I was about to
I was going to say too, as well, like, since they... Obviously, with this league being no assist, I imagine... with it also being even more difficult as well with a track like this.
Absolutely.
Because it is quite demanding in some aspects, isn't it? If we're totally honest.
Famously in the past, this has been an ABS racetrack where ABS was absolutely overpowered as Plebs jumps up to P6 with a 28.6. Just pip Spicy. But yeah, in games past, you needed ABS turned on to be competitive. So with this no assist here, the drivers will have to deal with the fronts locking up at several areas around the circuit, which obviously elevates front tyre temp. I'd imagine the drivers will be running minimum pressures anyway in the cars as Kong jumps up to P5 with a 28.3. That's a nice recovery after the spins we saw earlier in qualifying. But maybe here in quali, drivers will be using slightly higher temps, but for the race, yeah, I reckon a lot of drivers will be running on minimum. Because of how tyre temperatures and tyre pressures work in this game, you need to run minimum everywhere, so, which sucks.
Yeah. Or, yeah. Well, I mean, you could also run like a couple of clicks on the front or rears. Like that's what I've done in previous. Oh, Colin, hello. You've gone for another spin there, haven't you?
Oh, he has to.
Yeah, no, he was cutting the track. He used all the curve, and then he spun onto the right-hand side of the track at the exit of turn 7.
Did an oopsie.
Yeah.
Well, fortunately, he didn't collect anyone else in that oopsie, so we're all good.
Exactly.
Plebs is out of fuel. He'll make his way back into the pits, and if only I could see how much time we have left in qualifying, that'd be great.
He's gonna be close if he'll be close if he decides to come back out.
He's gonna be held up a little. Oh, no, he'll get in. Okay. Yeah, it'll be touch and go. It'll be very, very touch and go. Alrighty, Smithy, you're getting ready for your final flying lap attempt. Our current championship leader here in the Elite Series. It's not by much, it's only by 6 points. He'll be looking to build on that margin after this round at Bahrain. See what he can do here as Kong retires from the session. His qualifying session is over. The best he can hope for is P5. Smithy, meanwhile, will make his way around the final 2 corners, and he'll send it down the main straightaway to begin his final flying lap attempt with 1 minute and 46 seconds left on the clock. Up towards turn 1, entry speed 329 kilometers an hour. I saw briefly into turn 1, 4th gear, back on the accelerator through turn 2, 5th gear, through turn 3, 6th gear, DRS open, 7th gear. As he heads up towards turn 4, 8th gear, he'll get on the brakes at the 100-meter board, bring it down to 5th, get a tidy run at the exit. To the first sector, he's up, not by much, but he's up by 1/100th of a second, out to turn 7, and down into the hairpin at turn 8. 4th gear, back on the accelerator, nice and gently, doesn't use too much of the outside curb. As he heads around turn 9, hard on the brakes down into turn 10, pulls it up, absolutely spot on. He'll open DRS and head down the back straightaway towards the left-hand sweeper of turn 12. He'll get on the brakes just after the 100 board, just before the 50 board in fact, make his way around the long left-hander into the long right-hander of turn 12, up towards the middle sector split. He is up by 2.5 of a second as he makes his way out of turn 13 and down this long straightaway towards the final 2 corners on the racetrack. Turns 14 and 15, hard on the brakes, brings it down to 5th gear, back on the accelerator, gets a tidy exit, now just sending it up towards the line. DRS open, climbs into 8th gear, and sets a 27.761. The first driver in the 27s. Ferrari Pro, he is dead even to the first sector. ACW just in front, making his way around the hairpin at turn 8. Bags Liddell heading towards the first sector split. Clock says for the Aston driver he's down by 7/100ths. Riley, I think, yes, his qualifying session is
he
over.
Backed out of the lap. Yeah, he backed out of the lap.
Unfortunate. ACW, meanwhile, making his way towards turn 11. His teammate in hot pursuit as he heads around turn 11. 5th gear, climbing up the hill now towards the notorious turn 12. See, using that inside curb there. And he's down by just over 1/10 of a second. Ferrari Pro apparently is purple to the middle sector, but I don't know how much he improved by. Going to ride on board with our defending champion. 2 corners to go through turn 14, into turn 15, then back down the main straightaway. DRS open, up towards the line. It's a 27.891. It is not enough for pole. It's P2 for Ferrari Pro. Spicy, his session is done. Marvelant's done. And Jimson is done. Roscoe Arm is not done. He'll complete this flying lap. He will improve substantially. It's P10 with a 28.8. So there we are, Smithy. He'll start from pole position for this Bahrain Grand Prix, a 1 minute 27.761. He is just under 1.5 tenths of a second faster than F1 Ferrari Pro.
It's something if it was 1.5 seconds, not what it's...
Yeah, it probably would have raised a few questions, I would think, if it was that much faster.
I know, especially qualifying though, especially close as well. As I kind of expected around this track, for sure.
There we are, the end of qualifying here at Bahrain. It's Smithy who will start from pole position. Ferrari Pro will start alongside on the front row in second, with his teammate ACW in third. Bags Liddell is P4, followed by AMS Kong in fifth, Riley P6, then Pleb 7th, Spicy 8th, Pato 9th, and Roscoe Arm rounds out the 10. Outside of the top 10 we have GeForce Zach, followed by Davis in P12, Marvlin P13, followed by Jimson, and Pump will start from the very back, only qualifying on the hard compound tyre. So maybe Pump is just trying to play a bit of a survival game. He wants to start from the back and then try and move his way forward. That would be the only reason why you would qualify on the hard tyre. Just want to start at the back and survive.
Fair enough, I suppose.
Alrighty then. It's time for the pre-race shenanigans. Oh, and what do you know? It's not raining. What a surprise.
Rain at Bahrain?
Oh,
I never heard of her.
See, look at all those mechanics standing outside of their garages. They were hoping for rain. Look at them. They're eager for it. Where's the raindrops, they're saying?
I mean, they're all in the frickin' APOs, so... Yeah, you would think they'd be ready for the rain, I guess.
Absolutely, they're waiting for it. Eagerly waiting. Gotta love it though. You know, after an entire game cycle, we got a new glitch.
I mean, the point is that it's pretty much the point is now is that you don't get frustrated with the glitches that Codemasters brings up. You just pretty much just laugh it off, I guess.
Just accept it and laugh. That's all you can do.
Yeah. Yeah.
Alrighty. Formation lap time here in Sakir. Lights are green. Drivers take off on their formation lap. Who's starting on what? And what do you know? Smithy from pole position is starting on the medium tyre. And KD, this worked last week in Hungary. So he'll be looking to replicate that again. And the only other driver who was starting on the mediums is Kong in P5. Everyone else is starting on the hard tyre. Well, KD, if you were in Smithy's position, would you do the same? Would you start on the mediums?
Yeah, I think I would, because you have the grippiest tire, you have better pace at the start, so you can try to build up that gap as best you can before you have to go into the pits for hard tires. So it's not a bad idea for a track like Bahrain, especially. Alright, to be fair, I don't think it's a bad idea for any track that's really abrasive as Bahrain is. So, yeah, no, it's not a bad thing to do, really, in my opinion.
Fair enough. But yeah, it definitely worked for Smithy last week, for sure, over at the Hungaro ring. So you'd be looking to replicate that. I'm certain Ferrari Pro and ACW will know this. They'll be on top of this. Bags Liddell will be hoping to get a nice start again. Try and get in front of both Ferraris and maybe provide a bit of backup like he did last week at the Hungaro ring. So, like, Kong, he'll be aggressive off the start, naturally. 3 guys in front of him are on hards. Everyone else behind is on hards. I mean, Kong has to send it. Otherwise, he's wasting a set.
Yeah, he has to get up the field as quickly as he can. That's what he has to do.
Yep, that will not be easy. But let's say he gets up to second. It might work as a bit of a detriment for Smithy because he can provide DRS assistance to all of the hard runners behind who are in the leading train. So, if he does indeed get up to second, it might be to the benefit of the hard runners. Maybe. It depends on how much pace he has on those medium compound tyres. It completely depends on that. Alrighty. Smithy, he's lining up into his grid slot. He's lining up on the outside heading down towards turn 1. It's the cleanest side of the racetrack. but it is the outside. Ferrari Pro, if he gets a better start, he has the inside line heading into the opening right-hander, but I don't think he'll get a better start. You can see Smithy's on the mediums, Ferrari Pro's on the hards. Grippier tyres give better starts. All 15 cars are lined up ready to race. We've got 29 laps in front of us here in Bahrain. We have 10 red lights. And we're underway here at Sakir. It's a nice start from Bags Liddell in P4. He's going to try and challenge ACW and Ferrari Pro heading down towards turn 1. And guess what? He's got it in front. ACW looking around the outside as Smithy leads out of the opening corner. Oh, that is tight, KD. Out of turn 2, around turn 3. Ferrari Pro's dropped to 4th. He's now battling. Oh, no.
Yeah, he spun. And I think an Alpine got involved as well. Plebs got involved, yep.
Oh, dear. No. Well, that's the exact opposite of a good start for Kong, isn't it? He's all the way down in last position. Spicy, though, attacking side by side through turn 7, using all of the cab. And here comes Riley. 3 wide into the hairpin. Contact. Spicy has the nose in front, but Riley's got the traction. He's in front of both of them. He takes 5th. What great driving out of turn 8.
Wow. How on earth did they not get involved in some type of incident? I'll never know that.
Oh.
But jeez, Bags Liddell though, my goodness, what a start from him. You mentioned earlier if he could get a good start, he could, well, to provide a little bit of a distraction to the Ferraris, and what do you know?
Yep.
He's up to 2nd, but Ferrari Pro though, he's had a bit of a dunner, has he? Dropped down to 6th.
Not the best start at all for defending series champion. He's got a bit of work to do, and we know with DRS trains around this circuit, if you're stuck in the middle of a DRS train, you're not moving forward. Pump gets by Marvelin at the final 2 corners. He'll move through into 12th position. Smithy leading the way. He's got 2.8 seconds over his teammate in P2, with ACW in 3rd. He is still within a second of Bags Liddell, which is the most important thing, as Plebs gets a speeding penalty as he retires from the session.
Yeah. Well, that's unlike Plebs.
That is very unlike Plebs. He is one of the characters who just keeps on going regardless of what happens. In fact, he's left the session, so whatever happened on the opening lap is obviously... Oh, gee whiz, Pump. Pump was sideways there out of turn 4. With Plebs, something must have irked him quite a lot with that incident on the opening lap with Kong. So,
yeah,
I mean, I didn't get the perfect view of it, but I saw 2 cars spearing off at the exit of turn 3. So,
yeah, no, same story here. I just only looked back when I was on board with Spicy, and then I saw Colin was spun around, and then Plebs as well.
Oh, into turn 11, Jimson down the inside. He moves into 9th position. He's got a bit of clear track in front of him. He'll be allowed to push and try and catch up to GeForce Pato in P8. Meanwhile, this leading group of cars, they've remained the same order after lap 1. Meanwhile, Smithy is building a gap. This strategy is working for Smithy. He has got 4 seconds over his teammate and the rest of the field. That is 2 seconds a lap.
That's ridiculously good pace, too.
Fantastic, honestly.
Yeah.
Making that strategy absolutely work. It's going to put him in an incredibly strong position. Of course, what could ruin all that hard work, as Ferrari Pro is looking down the inside of Spicy here at turn 4, and he moves through. Kong spins out to turn 3. Yeah. So, going from bad to worse for Kong, it seems. But one thing that might not work in Smithy's favour is a poorly timed safety car. I mean, you can put all this effort in, build up a margin, put yourself in a really, really comfortable position, and then the safety car comes out. All that hard work, all that effort goes completely down the drain, and you got to do it all over again. So that'll be the one thing he'd probably hope doesn't happen, is a safety car gets deployed at some stage.
Right. Well, he's now built up almost another second on this lap, so yeah, he's definitely pushing for sure.
Yep.
With those mediums.
Building the margin, He'll let the guys behind battle away, and he'll just pull away. That's all he'll do. Build up that gap, and he'll just use that cushion he's created to try and keep all the other guys at bay. Now down towards turn 1, ACW is not close enough to attack Bags Liddell, as Roscoe is close enough to attack Davis down the main straight and moves himself back into P10, but he overshoots turn 1.
Yep, bit of a lock up there. Colin gets a 5-second penalty for speed, and, well, he's also retired.
Yeah, he's had enough. So we're down to 13. It didn't take long, and they're 2 voluntary retirements at that. They're not genuine retirements. They're 2 drivers that have just upped and quit. So, there we go.
Yep.
Free to do what you wish, but I'm going to be that guy, and I'm going to say it's lap 4 of 29. The checkered flag isn't anywhere near in sight. We have got a long way to go, and 2 drivers pulled the pin so early is, yeah, disappointing. Pump gets by Davis. That was at turn 11. I'm guessing Davis made a mistake there at 11. Judging by where his car was, Pump was able to just drive by down the inside, so I guess Davis made a mistake. Could be wrong. Could be completely wrong. Gap's now 5.1 seconds between the top 2, and here comes ACW. Righto. Fair enough, Plez. Yeah, Plez currently has a electrical storm around his house right now, so decided to shut everything off. As Bags Liddell is going to counter-attack down towards turn 4. And he moves back into P2, overtaking ACW down to 3rd. Now, Roscoe gets by Jimson at turn 4. Moves himself up into 9th. Jimson down to 10th. Back to this leading group. Look at this train. 4 cars. Bags, ACW, Riley and Ferrari Pro heading around turns 9 and 10. The gap continuing to increase. It's now 5.9 between the top 2. ACW down the back straightaway is closing in. Not by enough though to attack into turn 11. He'll have to stay behind. We'll get rid of the tyre graphic for just a little bit. Bring up the change position graphic. So Bags Liddell, thanks to that fantastic start, up 2 places. Riley's up 2. Ferrari Pro down 3. Spicy up 2. G4 Zach up 4. Same with Jimson and Pump. So a lot of drivers have gained spots. Only one driver has lost spots. And that's Ferrari Pro. Had a shocking start on the opening lap and he's lost 3. So the other 2 drivers have retired. Now around turn 1 into turn 2. Up the hill and around turn 3. ACW closing in, but don't think it will be by enough to attack here. No, it won't. He'll stay behind. G-Force Pato closing in on Zach. Not by enough to attack at turn 4. Stays behind.
Seems like Bags might have a bit of straight line speed just to try to defend against ACW. Well, the best he can, obviously. But just gets also better exits, I think, compared to the Ferrari.
Yep.
Which is fair enough. I mean, considering too that Bags is on pad and ACW is on wheel, of course that's a bit of a difference because pad traction, as far as I've known from experience, the difference between that and wheel is definitely night and day, for sure. Also, I guess that gets those incredible start too. I gained up a couple of spots.
Yep. Yeah, it's not too difficult to get a decent start on the pad. Just need to make sure you don't rev it too high, keep your throttle input fairly low. The way that I've worked it out is you just want to try and walk the car off the line. You don't need to really push too hard at the start. Just try and walk the car, and then when the car's nice and stable, then you go to full throttle. It's just about being gentle, being progressive, and that is quite easy to do on the controller. ACW not close enough again. Neither is Riley to attack ACW, so this train's going to remain the same for at least a little while, it would seem. Alright, Pro putting pressure on. He switched on the battery. Riley sees this, so he defends, heading towards turn 4. No send from Ferrari Pro. Oh, but ACW's wide. This might open up a window of opportunity, but Riley, yeah, he doesn't want to go for it. You don't want to go side by side through the S section. That's not a very smart idea at all. Contact there, just a little smooch between Ferrari Pro and Riley. Bit of a wiggle as well from Ferrari Pro. Around turn 9 into 10. Third gear, short shifting up to 4th. Nice and easy down the back straightaway. Not getting great traction, Ferrari Pro. Riley definitely getting a better exit. Meanwhile, everyone else behind is really starting to spread out. Closest battle we have behind us is the battle for P7 between GeForce Zach and GeForce Pato.
Yeah, that's not surprising, Bahrain. Typically, you see these little groups form as well.
Yeah.
These little trades. Well, in online league racing, we've seen that typically, or at least I have.
Oh yeah, absolutely. You see packs starting to form, and you don't see a lot happening in the middle of the packs because it's so difficult to move yourself forward. So, Davis a 3-second time penalty. ACW still not quite close enough. Bags Liddell doing wonders right now for his teammates with Smithy, and to be fair to himself, he's putting himself in a decent position. They're leading this group for a while. What's his battery like out of morbid curiosity? He's on 16%, ACW on 46, Riley on 54, Ferrari Pro on 16. Yeah, Ferrari Pro famously not exceptionally good at saving battery, but he's got a little bit in his back pocket, which is the most important thing. So Bag's not doing too great when it comes to battery, but he does have enough to try and keep those behind at bay. Excuse me. But
You're fine.
yeah. So long as he can keep this position, he'll put himself into a decent position towards the end of the race, I'm sure. I suppose one of the few things that might catch him out is drivers attempting the undercut, depending, of course, whether or not the undercut is actually strong around here.
Well, I know from previous games, I know it used to be quite powerful, the undercut. So, I mean, even though with this game, you know, you come out of the pits, you deal with cold tires and whatnot. It's harder, though, if it's the hard tires, of course. Especially for a track like this, where you start off like going through that right-hander of turn 1 and then lead through the traction zone of turns 2 and 3 on cold tires. On cold hard tires, it's a absolute nightmare.
Absolutely.
So, yeah. Ooh, I think Bags made a slight error there. He used all that inside curve at the first turn. That allowed ACW to close up just a bit. But not close enough, obviously, to attack.
Still behind, still waiting, still lingering behind Bags Liddell. Meanwhile, Smithy has driven away. He's got 7.2 seconds now over his teammate, making full use of those medium tires, making full use of the clear air in front of him, just driving away, doing what he needs to do. It's fantastic.
Absolutely. Yep, absolutely. Car's bouncing a little bit on us there, on Smithy's car. I noticed the rear wing, like when I was on the outboard shot, it looked like it was bouncing towards the rear side of the car.
Some proper porpoising in the Aston Martin car, I would say.
Somehow porpoising is a thing in this game.
It would be nice if it was. It was probably the biggest talking point other than the Red Bull Cost Cap saga during last year's championship season. Sort of this reintroduction of an old aerodynamic concept known as porpoising. Returning and having a huge effect on how drivers actually drove the car. And teams having to work out special ways to try and reduce the porpoising as much as possible. It's a pity it's not properly, accurately simulated. Like, you can certainly hear it, you can hear scrapes along the ground, but you can't really feel it at all. But, maybe that's something they add into F1 23. I don't know.
We'll see.
This porpoising is still very much a thing, thanks to these ground effect cars. But yeah, I suppose I. Oh! Contact.
That was contact, I think. Yep. Riley and ACW.
There was a little bit of contact after the spin. I think ACW lost it by himself, but there was definitely contact after the fact between ACW and Riley there. So, yeah, ACW just needs to keep his focus here. Don't want to lose control of the car when you're in this sort of position. You're third, you're in this leading train of cars, you're on the same strategy as everyone else around you. The only thing that's going to unsettle you is you make a mistake. So, just needs to keep his eyes forward, remain focused. Because, yeah, if he doesn't, well, he'll be out of this leading train very, very quickly. ACW, will he go for it this time? No. Not using any battery. Riley not doing anything either. Because this leading train's just chilling out. They're just minding their own business right now. Just doing nothing. Seems.
Pretty much. Yeah, well, pretty much, I guess.
I'll give drivers a bit of leniency, of course. It is lap 11 of 29. Still got a long, long way to go. So there's no real point battling one another right now. Oh, excuse me. There's no point at all. Because all you're going to do is lose time to the race leader. That's all you're going to do. So maybe, just maybe, it'd just be smarter to stay in the train. Try and keep the race pace up as best as you can. So that way Smithy just doesn't drive away with this at the end of the race. But of course, already he's got 7.6 seconds, 7.7 now, over the second place train. So yeah, it's not looking good for these guys right now.
No. Not really. Well, Smithy really hasn't really gained much time or lost time though, so it's probably, I'm guessing right now the tires are pretty much reaching to the point where they're actually even with the hard compound tires, I'm imagining.
That's probably a fair enough statement. Yeah. So I'll be interested to see when Smithy does decide to get onto the hard tyre. I wonder as well what kind of traffic he'll have to face as well, because I'm not too certain where he'll end up. If he ends up in clear air, that's the best case scenario. But if he ends up in traffic, well, he has to try and negotiate his way through traffic on cold tyres. And that's not fun. Anyone in this game can tell you that's not fun. So.
No. Well, right now the gap between the leader and, let's see, I think Jensen would be the closest one to him if he pits now. He would be about, yeah, he would probably come out behind Jensen.
Davis has spun at turn 4. He's going back in the right direction. No damage on the AlphaTauri, so no safety car. Just to know, the gap has shrunk between the top two. It's now 7.2, so I'm guessing Smithy might pit at the end of this lap.
Yeah, he could. Or he could try to go for at least one more and then go onto the hards. We'll wait and see. He's got around the mount for 2 turns. No, it's just going for one more. Maybe he just made a slight mistake.
Maybe.
That could be possible.
Yep, still hovering at about 7.2. We'll stay on board here with Bags Liddell. See how he's faring during this race. It's lap 13 of 29. Got 17 laps to go through turn 1, clobbering over inside curb there. Pump gets by Jimson, that's down the main straightaway. And Pato gets by Jeepers Zach as well. So that's for P7. There's a leading group just behind. Gap's increased a little, it's back to 7.3. He's found a 10th through the first sector. We head around turn 8. Back up the hill towards turns 9 and 10, and the gap's opened up a little bit more out of the hairpin. around turn 10 onto the back straight. Gap sitting at now 7.3, 7.4. Yeah, pace is about even, it seems.
Yeah, no, he's even with the hards. So yeah, last lap he just made a mistake, slight mistake.
Must have.
But yeah.
So, end of lap 13 we're coming up to here. With Smithy duck in. Coming out of the final corner. Yep, yes, in he comes.
Yep. Into the pit lane.
Pulls up well early to try and make sure he doesn't get a speeding penalty, because those do hurt. Coming up towards his stall. There goes that group that was battling for second. There goes Spicy. In comes Pato. He's coming in early.
That's quite early, if I'm totally honest.
Smithy will get in front of... Oh, will he get in? No, he doesn't. So he's behind, yep, behind Jimson. Well done, KD.
Thank you very much. Figure because the pit lane loss is like 20 seconds around Bahrain.
Alright. Now he'll have to deal with Jimson and Pump potentially. He's got 1.5 seconds between himself and Jimson. That gap will increase, by the way, over the course of this lap, due to the fact that Smithy has cold tyres. It will take him a little while to get him up to temperature. So, and that gap is still continuing to increase. Meanwhile, what is now the top 4, we have Bags Liddell, ACW, FVR Riley, and F1 Ferrari Pro. Top 4 separated by about 1.5 seconds.
Yep, pretty much 1.4. I wonder if maybe someone will come in early and respond to what Pato did. But...
Yep.
Ferrari Pro. Well, I've made that call. Ferrari Pro makes the call.
Alright. Set of mediums at the ready. An earlier stop, but it's a gamble he's willing to take. Way he leaves. There goes Pump and Jimson, so Smithy isn't too far behind. There he is there on the far right of screen.
Yep.
Now the far left heading down towards turn 1. Alright, so Ferrari Pro has clear air. Be able to push on those medium compound tyres. See if the undercut actually works in his favour. Smithy has not gained until now on Jimson around turn 4, so those tyres do take a while. Davis is spun at turn 1, entering 2. No damage on the AlphaTauri. Alright. I have a feeling that we'll be seeing these 3 coming in this lap. I don't know if they would want to go any longer. I guess it completely depends on how strong the undercut is. Because if it isn't particularly strong, then staying out is the right decision. But looking at Ferrari Pro, he is gaining on Smithy, so I reckon you need to come in. Oh, and Bags Liddell doesn't. Ooh.
But ACW does.
Yeah, and so does Riley.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know. I don't think.
I don't know about that. Yeah.
I don't think Bags made the right call. We'll find out. Where is Ferrari Pro? Here he is. So, Riley and ACW coming towards pit lane exit. There they are. And remember, Ferrari Pro was behind these 2. Oh, Riley goes way too deep.
Gee whiz.
Riley did not prepare himself for turn 1. And here comes Ferrari Pro on his teammate. ACW will not fight back. He will let his teammate through. But that's a huge moment there from Riley. Did not turn into turn 1 at all. Completely overshot the corner.
Yeah. I don't think what's... Also, I don't know if Smithy's gonna... Well, Smithy's ain't gonna like what he's dealing with right now. He's still gonna have to deal with a bit of traffic. The more he sticks behind that traffic, I feel, the more that he's going to lose even more time to Ferrari Pro, perhaps, if that's the case.
Yeah, I agree. Ideally for Smithy, he needs to be in clear air, being able to push on the tyre as much as he can. When you're stuck behind a car in front of you, you're eating up all their dirty air, so you've already lost performance. You also have to compromise yourself because of the car in front. Spags Liddell pits in. Spicy stays out.
Yep, for one more lap, for another lap.
Alright, Bags. Where do you come out? Ferrari Pro. Right on board. There's ACW and Riley. Where is Liddell? There he is. He is there, chunk in front.
Well, okay. Yeah, he made it somehow work by staying in the exact same position.
Getting his tyres nice and warm now. They won't take too long. Ferrari Pro is gaining. Out to turn 4 now, heading towards the S's. Ferrari Pro should be superior through here, and he is. Through turn 7, down the hill towards 8, wiggle. He caught it well. Into the hairpin at 9, almost making contact. Bit of a wiggle from Bags. Heading up the hill, over the crest, and into the left-handers of 9 and 10. Brings it down to 3rd gear, clips the apex, back on the accelerator. He'll open DRS and head down the back straightaway. Closing in on the Aston Martin driver. He doesn't have a lot of battery though to play with. The Bags, his tyres should be up to temperature by now. They should be nice and warm. As we head around turn 12, up towards turn 13. Ferrari Pro would surely be looking for a way by down the main straightaway.
We need to get a little bit less than half a second, I would say, to get a good opportunity towards the first turn. As Pump now goes into pit lane.
Alright, DRS open. No, Ferrari Pro's too far behind. Riley sets a new fastest lap. Oh,
and here comes ACW.
Ferrari Pro did that deliberately, I believe. He kept the DRS slot shot, and there goes Riley to the inside. Through turn 1, into turn 2. Now up the hill towards 3, they're still side by side. Who has DRS? They both do. Down towards turn 4, Riley to the outside.
Yeah. Oh, he's trying to hang around the outside if he can. Oh, jeez, that's going to be tight. It's contact. I heard a bit of rubbing there between those two. But somehow they get through that.
Yeah, Ferrari Pro was playing a bit of tactics there. He was letting his teammate through deliberately. And Riley saw an opportunity to send it down the inside. He had the momentum on Ferrari Pro to send it in. Unfortunately, those two gave each other enough respect through the first sector to keep their cars nice and straight and not send each other out of the race. It was good racing between those two. Good opportunistic driving from Riley. But Ferrari Pro did quite well to hang on. Smithy got Roscoe Arm in front of him. He'll get some DRS assistance here. Down towards turn 1. Roscoe Arm can't fight this, surely. To the inside goes Smithy. Roscoe Arm checks up. It's rotated round. Well, Smithy didn't get a great run through 1 and 2, but he's through. That's the main thing. Now that's GeForce Zach's AI, mind you. I saw the prompt that he left the session, so the AI has pitted in for a set of medium compound tyres. Dropped all the way down to 12th position. Actually, double check. I'm pretty certain it's the AI. It is.
It is, yeah. He's ghosted.
Has not rejoined just yet. Right, Smithy's got a clear track in front of him now. He's got a license to push.
Yep.
Oh. Aston Martin in the top 2. To think, in the year 2023, there might be a real-life possibility.
Yeah, especially after a bit of a disaster last year for Aston Martin.
Yeah, absolutely.
It's finishing 7th in the Constructors' Championship. Didn't have a great start. They had a good, somewhat end by gaining some points.
Yeah.
But, yeah.
I think as well with Seb's swan song year, sort of took the pressure off him. He didn't have to perform anymore. He knew he was done. He just needed to enjoy the moments while they lasted. You could especially see that at a race like Suzuka. Like, first of all, Seb loves that racetrack. He adores Suzuka because it's a proper driver's circuit. And he had that fantastic last lap scrap between himself and Fernando Alonso up towards the line. And what, he snagged P6 at the end of that, if I recall correctly?
Yep. Yeah, 6th place.
Which I think was the best result they had all year. So, it sort of demonstrated not necessarily what the car was capable of, but more so what Seb was capable of, because he was able to drive a tractor to P6 somehow. But I can say with certainty now, the 2023 Aston Martin is certainly not a tractor. No, or if it is a tractor, it's a damn fast one.
Yep, it's proven that so far. Both the cars got into Q3. Lance Stroll actually did pretty decent for having broken wrists, and Fernando Alonso just showed how quick the damn thing is.
Yeah. As Spicy goes into the pits, he might be pitting onto a set of softs. He is. This late in the race, you might as well do something. So.
Yeah. He's got enough of a gap to hold on to 7th, so he'll be fine.
Roscom going even longer on those hard compound tyres. He's still yet to stop. The gap between P1 and P3, what's that? That is 5.2 seconds? Is it 5.3? Or so?
Yeah.
So, excuse you. But,
sorry.
The gap shrunk, but not by a lot. And that pace between the mediums and the hards, like we saw in the first stint, it will even out. So. But, no, back with Aston. I want to know how they did it though. I don't understand how you can go from 7th to potentially top 3, top 4 team, and by some margin.
Yeah, because that's a flippant turnaround.
Like, you can hear about that kind of stuff after a regulation change. For example, with Brawn in 2009. I suppose you could argue Ferrari as well with their turnaround in 2017 when the wide cars were introduced.
Yep.
But with Aston, it's been a whole year. So what, were they just constantly developing the car ready for 23? I want to know how the hell they did that. You don't hear of that ever, but it's happened. So
yeah, and they've done well so far. But yeah, no, you probably know me about my view with Aston Martin. I view them as one of the more disgraceful teams in Formula 1 because I feel like they have potential to do something decent, but then they never do because they don't adapt to regulation changes. But no, this is different with Aston Martin. This is probably to me. Well, it's gonna look like, if it does, it could end up being close to what they did in 2020 as Racing Point, when they had a really, really solid year for their standards. Yes, of course, you're gonna mention, if you mention the Pink Mercedes whole thing, that's whatever. But still, it was one of the best year they've had since their existence, I would say.
Absolutely. But no, I think Aston Martin, if their pace is legit, we've seen teams in the past cheat, we've heard of the Red Bull busting over the cost cap, Ferrari with their Ferrari engine, quote unquote, the not so legal master engine. Here comes ACW using that master engine, on Bags Liddell, and he's making his way through into second position. Oh, and Riley's attacking too. Down the inside at 1. Oh, mama, he was close to taking out Bags.
Yep. Quite close.
Well, crisis averted. Just.
Just.
Now, ACW will be trying to pull away, try and create a margin to Bags. Bags will be doing everything he can to try and hang on to this podium. I'm sure he would love a podium. I'm sure as well he would also just like to finish. He's had a tough time of it. He had a pretty tough time in Formula Endurance, I remember. I'm thinking I'm one of the few drivers in the endurance race we had last night that actually kind of enjoyed it. I had a terrific time, but Bags certainly did not, and he'll be looking to rectify that here at Bahrain. You see as well, ACW has pulled away. It's now 4 seconds between himself and Smithy, and 1.2 seconds between himself and Bags Liddell. And Bags, he's dumping whatever battery he's got left. He's trying to get DRS. I reckon he got it too.
Yeah, no, he just got it as he got to the DRS detection line.
Yeah. So he'll hold off Ferrari Pro for at least another lap. Riley, how will he play himself into this? All 3 drivers are low on battery. They're all in single figures. Meanwhile, at ACW, he's doing much better. He's on 15%.
Well, hey,
that's 2 figures. Instead of 1.
Yeah, at least it's 2 figures better, I guess you could say.
It's a figure better. It's got 1 more digit.
Or figure better, sorry. But yes. Oh, no! Yeah, that... Well, that could have been nasty, now wouldn't it?
Absolutely. Bags Liddell ran wide at turn 7. And it opened up an opportunity for Ferrari Pro to go around the outside, and Bags shut the door on the outside, so much so that he pushed Ferrari Pro off the circuit.
A bit of excrements happened between both of those cars.
Probably.
And who would say that on the stream? Oh yeah, that would probably be me that says that.
Down the long straightaway, down towards turn 14. Ferrari Pro should get by this time around. I don't see Bags Liddell holding up Ferrari Pro any longer. No DRS to help him out.
And Ferrari Pro's dumping whatever resources he's got left.
Here he comes.
And here he comes. Yep.
Down the inside into turn 1. Ferrari Pro will move through into 3rd. Riley close behind. Bags Liddell's not going to give up though. Got a nice run through 2 and 3.
Absolutely. There he goes.
Oh, Ferrari Pro fighting back. Down the inside at turn 4. He's got the nose in front. Heading towards the S's now. Oh, tight. Ferrari Pro wins the battle though. Maintain 3rd. Look at Bags though. All over the back of the Ferrari. Oh, and Ferrari Pro made a mistake as Riley has left the session. Alright, now it's a 2-car fight for 3rd because the AI is going to lose a lot of time. Oh, and the AI just drives off the circuit for some reason. Here comes Liddell round the outside, heading towards turn 11. He gets in front and retakes 3rd. So this battle is on.
I think Ferrari Pro did that tactically, if I'm totally honest, because he backed off a little bit before the braking zone.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. Well, it looked like to me, so.
Good old gamesmanship. I love it. Alright. Round the final 2 corners. 3/10 is the gap between these two. The battle's on for P3, and we have 3 laps to go. 4 laps, sorry, to go. Oh, and the game pits Riley as Ferrari Pro goes up the inside of Liddell. He moves himself up into 3rd. Liddell, though, will try and fight back through turn 2 and around turn 3. On to the straightaway, DRS open. Liddell at straight line speed. He's looking around the outside here at turn 4. Sends it in. Ferrari Pro keeps the inside line. It's tight on the exit. And Ferrari Pro gets in front. Good bit of driving there from the defending series champion. Out to turn 7. Down the hill towards turn 8. The gap has increased to 0.4 of a second. Bags. Oh, and another slide from Ferrari Pro.
Yeah, it's a bit of a costly mistake there. Losing the back end there at the exit of turn 8.
DRS open down the back straight away. Bags will close in. Not by enough to attack here, of course. Into turn 11. But he can try and put pressure on the car in front. Try and create a mistake. He heads up the hill. Around the right-hander at turn 12. Oh, the Ferrari is able to carry more speed around the left-hander, but I think Ferrari Pro was a tad bit wide. That might have been a warning there for him.
Yeah, because I think he had 4 wheels over the white line there out of turn 12.
I think you're right. So, what can Bags do here? He'll have DRS. He's got decent straight line speed. Got a bit of battery to play with too. He's gaining. Will he switch on the battery? No, he won't. He'll back off. He doesn't want to battle right now here into turn 1. Ooh, I don't know about that, if I'm being honest. Ferrari Pro is quicker in the corners. He pulls away. I think you got to get in with it. You got to get in there and fight. You got to go for it. I think Bags in this kind of position will be stronger battling him rather than waiting. And here comes Pump and Roscoe. They're battling for position 2. Up the hill, DRS open. There's Pato just in front, heading towards turn 4. Now, out to turn 4, heading towards the S's now. Won't be able to do anything through here. Liddell's lost time. The gap's increased to 0.6. He had to use a little bit of battery there down the back straight away. Try and close that gap up. Oh, he goes deep at 11. No. That's cost himself even more time. Time that he can't afford to lose.
He's lost about 0.2 in that corner alone there.
Oh, dearie me. So that's 0.7. That's why I feel like he had to battle him at turn 1. Sort of left Ferrari Pro off the hook. Allowed him to get a nice run together, try and pull away. DRS open again. Using a bit of battery. See, he's not closing in by as much. He's not in the slipstream. Not properly in the slipstream anyway. Needs a nice run through 2 and 3. No, doesn't have it. He loses time. You'll have to gain that momentum back down the straightaway, and as a result, he's not close enough to attack at turn 4. Yeah, I think Bags sort of let Ferrari Pro off the leash. I mean, I'm sure he'd still be pretty pleased with a P4, but there was a genuine shot of a podium there. I think he's just let go.
Bottom. Yeah.
Meanwhile, ACW has closed in on Smithy, but we won't be seeing a battle for the lead. No way. Smithy's got this race under control. Now, Pump and Pato might battle for position. No real time penalties on the table, only 3 seconds next to Davis's name. That's it. Said in terms of time penalties. Tyres don't really matter now, so we'll just keep it on this graphic in case if anyone does get a time penalty at some stage. Alright, Bags, you've got 1 lap left to really try and go for it here. The leader will begin the final lap. It's lap 29 of 29 here at Bahrain International Circuit. Liddell dumping his battery. DRS wide open. Closing the gap down towards turn 1. Not close enough. He goes deep under brakes. Pulls it up. Heads around turn 2 now. The left-hander. Up the hill and around the right-hander at turn 3. DRS open again. Down towards turn 4. He is not close enough to attack here. Pump. Pato. Into turn 1. Again, not close enough to attack here. Around turn 2. Up the hill and around turn 3. Pato's keeping Pump at bay. 4.5 tenths separating these two. Bags Liddell. Running low on fuel as well. Running at almost even as he overshoots turn 10. That might be it. That might be the final nail in the coffin for Bags' podium chances. Lost too much time there. Meanwhile, race leader Smithy has only got 3 more corners to negotiate. Makes his way around turn 13 as Davis comes to a stop. He might be waiting for the leader to come on through. Oh no, he'll keep pushing. He made a genuine mistake. 2 corners left for Smithy. It's been another masterclass. He did the exact same strategy at the Hungaroring and it worked brilliantly. Well, it's worked again and he's won the Bahrain Grand Prix. ACW will come home in second. Ferrari Pro will complete the podium places in third. A 2-3 for Ferrari. Another huge amount of points for the Italian team. Bags in P4, what could have been if it was a bit more aggressive, but he would still be happy with 4th. Spicy P5, Pato P6 by 0.3 of a second to Pump 46. Roscoe next, Jimson crashes at the line. And then it'll be G4 Zach's AI in P10, followed by Marvelant, and then Riley's AI. Oh, you got a feel for this guy in particular. He was up there fighting for a top 5 finish. Could have been a podium, but the game said no.
Yep.
So, I'll be curious to see who gets driver of the day as well. In terms of positions gained, it's going to be Pump. Started from last. His game of survival ended up working pretty well. Top 10. Decent points. He'd be happy with that, I'm sure. Davis another penalty as he's making his way back towards the line. And Smithy here, he'll extend his championship lead in the Pacific Elite Series. The fight is still very much on for the Drivers' Championship, but Smithy is in fine form. Driver of the day, what a surprise, it's given to Pump 46. Started last in 15th, ended up finishing 7th. His survival strategy worked pretty well. So, podium celebrations. Eventually, when this thing stops loading. Stop loading.
Are you seriously not in the podium celebrations?
No, it's just loading.
Oh yeah, because you've got the PS4 version. That's
Guess
right.
so.
Yeah, because we're already... Because I'm already looking at it.
Oh, there you go. No, a fine performance again from Smithy. Put it together once again. Did the same thing last week. It's worked again this week. Smithy, the winner of the Bahrain Grand Prix. P2 goes to ACW. P3 to Ferrari Pro. Double podium for Ferrari. I'm guessing then I won't get the final results table when this usually happens.
All I can tell you is that we're on a countdown clock, and we were at 5 seconds. I'm at the timing screen.
Yeah, love this game.
Yeah, don't we all?
That's okay. Well, final results throughout the race, it's alright. It's all okay.
Yeah, if they need the final results screen, I have it up.
Maybe we should be alright. Hopefully.
Yeah, just rather be safe than sorry.
That's very true. Alright. We'll get the 2 Ferrari lads in here. We can have a chat. Do some interviewing about this race we just had. We'll be back in a moment. Alright. They're at it and they'll be arriving shortly. But before that, I'll just give a quick shout out again to Smithy. Another awesome drive once again. Absolutely nailed it once again in terms of strategy. Looked absolutely untouchable out there, so well done, Smithy. Deserve this win. But, hello, you two.
Hello.
Hello.
Double Ferrari podium.
Oh, could have been a 1-2.
Well,
Would have been a 1-2.
it was a 2-3 today.
Well, it was a 2-3 at least.
Yeah, stopping.
Alrighty, Mr. Ferrari Pro, we'll start off with you. P3. At the end of the day, you mentioned it could have been a 1-2, so not the most ideal result then for you here at Bahrain.
Yeah, I'm not really like stoked with that one. Of course, I'm happy to get another podium in that, but oh man, I got the worst start possible on that dirty line. And it's just really caught off my race, to be honest. But just the podium's pretty good. It adds to my stats.
Yep, pads the stats a bit, makes them look good.
Yeah,
But
decorates.
qualifying, how did that go for you?
I was pretty surprised with how my pace went. I was pretty happy, you know, like to have that lap, but if that was like maybe another 10th and that I could have got pole. So no, it was all right. P2. I was feeling confident starting on the front row, but the hard tyres were just
No way.
crap. So, yeah.
Yeah, it certainly seemed like it because, your start was shocking. P2 to P6 is not the way you want to go at all at the start. But I suppose, hard tyres at the start of the race, they do that to you. So I'd say you recovered pretty well. But yeah, that start wasn't ideal. And then you got caught up in this 4-car train featuring yourself, your teammate, Bags Liddell, and Riley. What was the game plan initially during that first sort of phase of the race, because you guys weren't doing too much in terms of battling?
It was mainly just to probably try get a gap back to Smithy, using slipstream and that, but Bags was being a little bit of a bit annoying that race as Smithy's teammate, so he did what he had to do in that, but I think mainly we were just really trying to gain more temps, having slipstream, having DRS and that from each other. Just could try catch up to Smithy, but we were definitely trying to get past Bags as quick as we could, but just couldn't. He just got really good drives out of corners, and it was a bit annoying, but it is what it is. Yes.
Yep.
Not being the third Alpine, at least he just had to deal with an Aston Martin.
Yeah.
But not much happened between a lot of you until the pit stop window came about, and you were the first one to pit. I mean, what was the discussion between you and ACW at that point?
I actually saw Smith. I knew it wouldn't have been much to get me an overcut of me, but I saw he made a mistake that maybe cost him about a second towards the traffic he was in. So I was like, oh, I'm coming in right now. So I came in, and I thought he would be in more traffic, but he came out 6 or 7 seconds in front.
Yeah.
But the undercut really was powerful for me. We were all close together in the train, but it really didn't work good for me. So I was still a bit annoyed with that.
I mean, coming down the main straightaway after making a stop, you had ACW and Riley coming out of the pits. ACW makes his way around turn 1. You're next to Riley, and Riley overshoots.
The switchback.
Just a big old overshoot.
I was like, I'm just going to switch back this, and I did. The old switcheroo.
And you ended up leading the train. And then after a little while, Bags came in for his stop. And to a lot of our surprise, he came out in front of you.
That's again, I don't really know what happened there. He must have just been pushing so hard on the hards, and then I was just, going like a grandma on the mediums, thinking they could go quicker than the hards when he was pushing, but
yeah.
I don't know what happened there, but yeah, just a bit annoyed.
Yeah, fair enough. But after a little while though, you did eventually get by Bags and moved yourself out the front of the train. And then your teammate ACW came up behind you and looked like that you two were going to change places down the main straightaway. At one point, you kept your DRS shut.
Yeah.
ACW moved by you, and in comes Riley down the inside of you at turn 1.
Oh no, mate, that was the switchback, wasn't it?
Yes, that was the switchback.
Yeah, that was the switchback. Also, yeah, so I knew ACW had more battery than me, so I just decided to let him go because I had nothing. Probably would have affected our race even more if I stayed in front, so I just let him go, and I didn't even expect Riley to be, like, I knew he was going to be there, but I didn't expect him to be right there, so
yeah.
I saw he was going to send it, I knew it wouldn't have worked, so I just, the old switcheroo.
No, you two battled quite well through the first sector, made for some good viewing, but you ultimately came out on top.
I think we had a bit of contact in the S section also, but just a bit of a racing incident. I left him enough space, he left me enough space, just must have been, who knows.
Yeah, KD picked up on the contact, he heard it, making your way through the S's. But towards the end of the race you had Bags on the back of you. There was one point where he was quite close to you, with about 3 to go, 4 to go, and he doesn't go for the overtake, he just lifts and stays behind you. I was certainly surprised. Were you a bit surprised that he didn't try and battle you harder?
Not really, because I thought that he was saving battery behind me, and I thought he had enough battery, to try and push it on the last couple laps, because I think I had older tyres than him, so I thought he would have got me in the last couple laps, so I wasn't too surprised by that, but at the same time I was like, thank you, Bags. At least he gave me a bit of breathing room, but... Yeah,
mentioned that it sort of took you off the hook when it came to some pressure, some side-by-side battling pressure. But no, he didn't have battery, he had about the same amount of battery as you did towards the end of the race, so he wasn't able to recuperate any whatsoever. But a P3 result at the end of this. You made your comments about how it's not the most ideal, but it's points, it's a podium, it's a sort of a pad stat race.
Yeah, I'll just rate it 50-50, to be honest. Just good constructors points, scored a podium, but could have been better.
Yeah. KD, do you have anything to ask for iPro at all?
No, nothing more other than just congratulations on your podium and your 2-3, of course.
Thanks, man.
So yeah, of course.
That final question for you for iPro. Next week. Oh goodness, where are we next week?
Montreal.
Oh, that's right. The Canadian Grand Prix. Thoughts?
That damn.
I like the track. That's where I got my first Elite Series win, so I've definitely had some good memories around there, but haven't really done a lot on F122 around it, but I remember at the start of F122 I didn't mind the track, so hopefully I can get back in that rhythm, so yeah, looking forward to it.
Nice to have a bit of optimism heading into the round, so we'll see how you fare. Well, best of luck then for next week, but for now, congratulations on your 3rd place finish for the Bahrain Grand Prix. Well done.
Thank you, Lane and KD, and congrats to my teammate, Mr. ACW and Smithy. Well done, boys.
Speaking of which, ACW P2. Ferrari Pro made his thoughts about the result. What are your thoughts about the result?
I feel like it was mainly damage limitation. After the first stint, Bags doing what he did for his teammate, letting him run away. I feel like P2 and 3 was probably the best we could do.
Yeah.
Not really much else. I was struggling a lot that whole race for pace. But I think P2, not too much to get mad about, but not too much to celebrate.
Yeah, okay, fair enough. Qualifying though, how did that fare to you? It seemed like the ending of qualifying didn't go exactly to plan.
Oh, it was horrible.
Mm.
Oh, my first lap, my sector 2 and 3 was like very good, but my first sector was horrid.
Yep.
Horrid. And then second run, I like found all that time. I was like nearly 2/10 up, and then I half spun. And then third lap was just a shocker.
Yep.
Horrible.
I think we caught your half spin, and it was at turn 11, a long left-hander. Yeah, you and Bags had moments there. Bags had a bigger moment than what you had, but it ended the same way, ruined the lap. And yeah, it didn't seem like the tidiest of qualifyings on your end. And what was it, P4?
P3.
3
Three.
at the end of qualifying. So still starting on the second row, not the worst place to start. Made your launch, it looked pretty decent, but Bags got a better one.
Yeah.
Shot through the middle.
Pat, traction.
Yeesh. Great. I love it.
Even when I get a good start, I still lose positions.
But yeah, no, you made your comment with being stuck behind Liddell at the opening part of the race. I'd probably say if I was in your position, I'd also be a bit frustrated, just being sort of stuck behind and losing time to the leader. But unfortunately for you, not much happened until the pit stop window. You made the call to go after your teammate. Riley followed you in. Were you hoping you were going to try and pass Liddell after the pit stop period?
So yeah, when Ferrari Pro said about Smithy losing the back end and losing time, I was like, alright, I told him to pit, because I was just hoping he could undercut Riley, me, and Bags. So I felt I had the pace to overtake Bags, and then we could run away and try and get Smithy. But surprisingly, the undercut did not work. It was quite horrible.
Just no pace on the cold tyre at all?
I think just no pace on the cold tyre.
Okay.
Yeah, mainly.
Fair enough, I suppose. I think that's something a fair few of us would probably take into consideration. Future races here at Bahrain, at least on this game, for however long we play on it. But you know, you managed to well, you let your teammate through initially after the pit stop period. He was on warm tyres, you weren't, so you let him through. And again, probably to you two, your horror, Bags was still in front of you after the pit stop period. So, we got to do all this work again. Okay. But your teammate let you through, and I think Bags was still in front by that point.
Yeah, he still was.
And then you set after Bags. I can't remember how you got by him. Was it just DRS down the main straight?
Yeah, it was just DRS out in the main straight.
Yeah. And eventually you got in front and you just streaked away.
Yeah. I felt I had the pace, but I was stuck behind him because the key DRS zones, he was just getting the exit. And I think he was running lower wings.
Yeah.
So it was just, cause I think I overtook like lap 6 or something. And then like he re-overtook me straight away.
Yep.
So there was just like no chance. So when I saw him start flashing, I just knew I had to try and make it stick and pull away.
Yep.
So I luckily did.
Now, after you passed, you set after Smithy, but unfortunately there was too few laps left. Unfortunately. And second is the best you could get, so... But yeah, I'm sure it must have been frustrating crossing the line knowing that you had pace to catch up. Just, yeah, got caught up with other drivers slowing you down, so... Yeah, a bit unlucky.
It is racing, so...
Yeah, that's right. But, KD, do you have anything to ask?
No, nothing more as well. Just congratulations on P2. But yeah, just unlucky. Just a bit unlucky, though, for being stuck in a bit of a trend, but still, at least you showed you had some good pace, which you did, obviously. That's the main story.
But one final question for you. Next week we're heading over to Circuit Gilles Villeneuve, Canadian Grand Prix. What are your thoughts heading over to Montreal?
I think in race spec, and excluding social races, I have 100% pole conversion rate. I think. I might be wrong, but I think.
Alright, setting the bar high then for this week, for next week,
I
right?
win.
Well, pole's a pole.
Pole's a pole, but no win.
Just need to make that conversion rate a bit better. Get the pole, get the W. And that way you can start attacking Smithy for the top of the championship table. It is still close. Still got a long way to go. There's a lot of racing to unfold, so this championship is looking like a good one. But best of luck to you next week, ACW. But for now, congratulations on your P2 finish. Well done.
Thank you, Lane and Katie.
Of course.
And a final congratulations again to Smithy. Put it together once again. Medium to hards, made it stick. Just like Hungary last week. You know, what can I say? Drove exactly how you needed to. Got clear traffic when you needed to. Had to deal with a bit of traffic here and there, but made it work well enough to keep the lead at the end and ended up winning the thing. Going back to get back to back. So, no, congratulations, Smithy, on winning the Bahrain Grand Prix. That's KD. I think it's getting close to wrapping everything up. No, thank you once again for joining me in the commentary box. Your help, always appreciated.
Yeah, no problem. Anytime. It was a decent race, but it was a race we got through. That's the main thing.
That's right. But I think with the race finally over, it's time for us to end the stream and hop off and go watch real life Formula One for the opening round of the 2023 Formula One World Championship to see how that all unfolds. Will Aston Martin maybe put themselves onto the podium? Maybe with a Fernando Alonso on the podium. That would be a sight to see in an Aston.
That would.
But yeah, no, that's going to be quite an interesting opening round, I'm sure. But I've been Lane Everingham. My co-commentator for tonight is KD1997. Thank you everyone so much for watching, and we'll see you next week for round 7 of the championship at Circuit Gilles Villeneuve for the Canadian Grand Prix. Until then, it's goodbye.